Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we are tackling another chapter of the Tao Te Ching. We're doing chapter 50, Life and Death. So it sounds kind of freaky, but it's really not. This chapter is essentially about letting go of your fear of dying, and essentially that lets you live life much better, much more freely, much more calmly, without anxiety. You get to focus on the things that you actually care about, and you don't necessarily suffer as greatly as you would if you just go around being traumatized and terrified of everything. Obviously, having fear of certain things. Oh, actually, I don't know. I was just going to say having a fear of something dangerous is justified. But I guess having like an aversion to it is better. You don't want to innately fear something like that. I think you want to more identify it, and then, you're able to avoid it. You're not necessarily afraid of it, because fear is this very strong emotion kind of linked towards like anger and hate. And I think engaging too much in that in your life leads to bad outcomes, essentially. So this chapter, it's not very long. I think it's very short and sweet. It essentially says that most people do not have a natural death, whatever that is. And it says that very few people do, because most people are afraid of death itself, and because they value their life too highly, which I think is kind of interesting. I think we all have this kind of self-importance, and we all have this kind of focus on our life and what our life is going to mean and what it should mean and all of that kind of stuff. But at the same time, that necessarily isn't founded in a healthy reality, If you value your life too highly, you're doomed to have a bad one, is essentially what this is trying to say. And I don't know if I agree that strongly with it, because it's kind of a strong opinion, honestly, but it does have some valid ideas. And I do think the idea that our world is terrified of death is very prescient. We are the first generation that has not had to witness up close that whole process. We create so many barriers to death. We don't want to see it. We don't want to hear about it. We don't want to talk about it. Even though it's depicted a lot in film and television and media in general, when somebody actually passes away, you are sort of what's the word? It's like you're protected from it. You are you avoid having to sort of come to real terms with it, to process it, to understand it. If you've ever had a relative pass away, depending on your circumstances, obviously, you probably didn't actually have to see that person. They were in a coffin, they were cremated. There were lots of factors that sort of manicure death. That's what I'm looking for. It's the manicuring of death, so that we don't see it, we don't have to think about it too much. And it's exceptionally strange in our society nowadays, because you can see photos and videos of the person who is gone, and you can listen to them talk, you can listen to them laugh, you can rewatch memories that you guys had together. And so it is very strange to say goodbye to somebody in that capacity, and to really come to terms with the idea that this person is gone, like this person isn't coming back here anyway. And so, yeah, I think obviously death is one of those things that humanity and humans have thought about forever. Religion, philosophy, a huge amount of it is dedicated towards where we go when we die, what happens, do we get to bring anything with us, can we communicate with the other side. There's so much to process there, but a lot of it just comes from this innate fear of we don't know what happens after. And so we tend to value life here and value our lives here, but that also creates this anxiety and this worry, which is essentially what we're talking about here. I'll also show you the picture. Very pretty. He is the deity depicted in this is going through the reeds, essentially. But anyway, so that's kind of what I wanted to say about this. Basically, being too anxious or fearful of passing away will result in a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, and that will prevent you from living your life, is essentially what this verse talks about. I urge you to go and look at other translations. I've seen this one written several different times. This isn't my favorite translation of it, honestly, but it does the job, and it definitely covers all bases. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, and as always, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Life and death. We may expect 3 in 10 to live out their natural life. 3 in 10 to die an untimely death. 3 in 10 will live precariously at risk of death. Why is this? Because they value their life too highly. I have heard it said that those who manage the life they are given well can travel without threat from rhinoceros or tiger, and can fight in any army without armor or weapon. The rhinoceroses find no place to thrust its horn. The tiger finds no place to gouge its claws. The weapon no place for its point to pierce. Why is this? Because death has no place in them.